Hello everyone, it is I, Republic Studs, and welcome to Ask the Stud, Episode 3. Now I know in the first episode I said I wasn't going to be doing these that consistently, but apparently you guys are really liking these, so I'm going to keep doing them, and with that said, we are going to get right on into it. But first, you guys all got to smash the like button, it'll help me out a metric ton. I'd really appreciate it, and just that like button turning blue would just mean the world to me, so remember to smash it, and with that said, we're going to get right on into it. So first off, we have a question from John Doe. He says, thanks for answering my question and showing your dog last episode. Besides yourself, who is your favorite stop motion creator? Mine is Edbound. Myself, I am not my own favorite stop motion animator. I do not think I am the best stop motion animator in any sense of the word, but it has to be Brix Films. Now, Brix Films happen to also pick up on this in the comment. He is also a member of the channel, so if you want to have your question answered first, remember to become a member. But yeah, so yes, studs. No, seriously, Brix Films is great. He makes some fantastic stuff and is extraordinarily underrated. With that said, let's get into the next one. Now, from Richard Horan, he asks, do you think LEGO will ever do another Phase 2 Captain Rex? Now, there is a multi-pronged way to think of this. Now, this first off, has to assume that we're basing this off the Clone Wars. Because you could say, yes, we might get some sort of Phase 2 Rex from if he shows up in Kenobi. That's a possibility. You think we'll get one from Bad Batch? I'm less likely on the other two, again, because we don't know if he's going to be Kenobi, and I don't think they'd do one for Bad Batch because he's not prominent enough. He might be in the next season, so, it would make more sense possibly, depending on how Season 2 goes, but we just don't know at this moment. Now, based on the Clone Wars run, I think the only foreseeable set, other than a possible minifigure pack, that LEGO does a Captain Rex in is the Blue Y-Wing, which I am hoping is going to be coming out next year. And, it looks like next year's Summer Wave is stacking up to be pretty interesting. So hopes are that's going to be the case, and I've even talked about this in my Clone Wars Wave overview, which I consider to be all the Clone Wars sets that we've gotten from the Bad Batch Shuttle, which I know was Bad Batch, but all the Clone Wars sets we've gotten over the last 2 years, which make up the Clone Wars Season 7. And I think the last Clone Wars set LEGO needs to do before they put a cap on the entire show making sets for it would be a Captain Rex Y-Wing. That would just be perfect in my opinion. You could do Ahsoka, Rex, a 332nd Trooper, and you could even throw in Jesse in there. I just think that would be perfect. But let's move into the next question. Next up, Master Builder 1 asks, what is your favorite LEGO Star Wars box art? Now, oh my gosh, there are a lot of great ones here. There has been so many over the last few years, but I gotta say, the recent one with the Vader helmet and all the different clone helmets and stuff being on the white background, I like the white bricks in the background. That's fantastic. It's personalized to LEGO, so it's not like it's, just all general Star Wars toys have that like they have in the past. And I gotta say, that's probably my favorite. Now, a few others I'd certainly like to mention. Obviously, the iconic 2014 Vader. That one is certainly the most nostalgic to me because that was the one I had when I first, got into LEGO Star Wars, so I love that one. One that I was not surrounded by too much, but I still appreciate. I love that Captain Rex was on the box art for all of them. That's just great. I love Captain Rex. And if I had to, say objectively, from stylistically looking best, I'd say that Darth Maul one looked pretty good. I really did like that. Now, if I had to say the worst, it would easily be Episode 8 and 9, the ones with Rey and Poe and all them. I just don't like that. It just, they feel too human of the faces. I feel like they should have only limited those to, alien characters. It would have been fine if they did BB-8 for those. But I was just not a fan of those, to be honest. And I found it kind of weird just having these real human faces on my plastic LEGO set. I just like having aliens and random stuff. Now, next up, Keegan Gallup asks a really interesting question of what do you think the chances are for more Solo/Rogue One sets in 2023? Now, this obviously is excluding the Cassian show because there's a likely possibility we'll be getting something for that, but I'd say pretty slim to none. I think LEGO has pretty much capped it on those movies. Solo was not an incredibly popular box office hit. I really would like to see some characters from Solo that we still haven't gotten, namely the named villain of that movie, who I am blanking on his name. Oh, it is Dryden Voss, that is it. I'd like to see Dryden. We even have his guards that came in a set, and I really wish we got him. That would have been fantastic. But other than that, I don't think we're getting anything from Solo for sure. Rogue One was obviously a bit more popular, and I think there's a slight more likely possibility because it did introduce things like the U-Wing Starfighter, which I think is a pretty popular vehicle. And that was just a fun wave overall. I don't see us getting a lot of the, exclusive sets. I could see like a tie-in to Rogue One with a set, but not exactly a Rogue One specific set where we get Jyn Erso again, which is just unfortunate. And I really would have liked to see more of those, but, you know, I guess that's not going to be the case. I really don't see us getting that, especially with all the new stuff coming down the pipeline. I don't see where they're going to have room. And it seems like all the sets they go back to revisit are based on the Skywalker saga, generally speaking, namely the original trilogy. They haven't even been revisiting the sequels, which is something I've picked up on and must really suck for sequel fans, even though I am not one. Now, next up, Sam Gackstetter said the only 2003 Clone Wars set we've seen was Anakin's custom Jedi Starfighter. But if there were others, what do you think they would be? Now, I remember this one. I remember having a Lego catalog in school, and I hadn't watched the Clone Wars at this time. This was like 4th grade, and I just remember looking at this and like, that looks cool. And this was actually a vehicle that Admiral Akbar drove in the Lego Yoda Chronicles. It was like Daisy May or something. I remember that, which was pretty fun. But other than that, I don't think we'll see this. Now, for those who are wondering, this is the 2003 animated series, kind of like the new anime one, but just Clone Wars based, and it was really cool. Now, if I had to say something that I'd like to see made, it would certainly be the ARC Troopers gunship. I think that's just the most iconic thing from that whole shenanigan of a plot. You know, there's not many other exclusive vehicles I could think of from that particular series, but I think if there was one other one, it would be that. That one's certainly the most iconic from that whole swath of cartoons. Now let's move into the next one. Now this one's a really interesting one, from Jing Ren Leong. Hi Republic Studs, since I don't have the 2015 Imperial Shuttle, do you think I should buy the 2021 one? Now this is the 2021 one. Now you guys know I have been extraordinarily critical of this, and I encourage Jing as well as all of my subscribers to check out my review on this. I have a whole playlist of 2021 set reviews. I've reviewed everything except the helmet sets as of now. But you could just look at this thing, and just by looking at it, it doesn't look great, especially from this angle. And overall, I think it's just a scam. Now, I do not like it because, first off, aside from the downsizing obvious, one of the biggest features I feel of an Imperial Shuttle is its capacity to carry minifigures, and this set just lacks in that horribly. There is room for only one figure in the cockpit, and then there is only room for 2 figures in the back, and they are crammed in there. There's no fun space to play around with. They are just sitting, and that is it. And I'd say if you could probably find a used, just plain set if you don't care about the figures, because again, the figures in the set are nothing to write home about. There's a boring Luke Skywalker, which will come in a battle pack next year. There's an officer, and there's Vader, which are all very easy to come across. Just see if on eBay you could find an old 2015, 2016, whenever the previous ones came out. I'm pretty sure even like the other Lambda class shuttles are just better than this one. So I'd encourage you to go buy a used one if you'd like. If you'd find one at a decent price, I'd strongly encourage that over buying this one. I am not a fan of this one at all. But if you really want it, I'd say go for it. I mean, this is certainly cheaper, I guess, in a lot of ways, and you are getting a full set. But I'd honestly just go with a used set, to be completely honest. Now, Clips Films Melbourne actually brings up something I didn't realize, and I had to do a little research before I could answer this question. Do you still think the clone flame trooper in the LEGO Star Wars Battles game was a mistake by developers? Now, for those who don't know, there's the LEGO Star Wars Battle game just released on Apple Play Store. But basically, this was a design thing, and everyone's like, whoa, look, a cool clone trooper. That looks really sick. And apparently, the developers thought that this figure was made, by LEGO. When they were researching, I guess we need to do a flame trooper for the good guys. And they didn't know it was a custom company, which means in an official LEGO game, they are using a custom Clone Army Customs minifigure, which is kind of awesome. So overall, if I had to guess if LEGO is going to make this, I'd say almost certainly not. I don't see them revisiting the Second Battle of Geonosis arc from the Clone Wars. It's just not a thing I see happening. But I think it's really cool, and I just want to kind of bring that to your attention, that these custom clone companies, especially Clone Army Customs, who I have partnered with, and, they sponsored my Venator mock, they're being made in official LEGO content, ironically or not. Like, this clone trooper comes with arm printing and everything. You look at it and compare it to the Clone Army Customs one, and it looks identical. They were obviously basing it off of that, and that is just kind of awesome. Now, Django Fett Productions asks the stud, do you think they will make a new Bad Batch set next year? If they do, what will it be? So, first off, Bad Batch Season 2 is coming, so it'll likely be something based off of that. But, we could see something from Bad Batch Season 1 as well. Obviously, the missing criteria of things we need are, namely, Omega. that's really it. And like, if we got Omega, I'd honestly be fine. Like, if they just did a polybat of Omega, then you'd have everything you really need from the show. In terms of characters, because those are the main characters. In terms of other places, you'd see Sid's bar, I think. But if I had to say, like, an essential thing that I think could possibly show up, I'd probably say some sort of Kamino training. Now, I know LEGO has kind of been aware that we've wanted to see some Kamino-related stuff, and my friend, BrickYoda555, actually put together this amazing design. I featured it on the channel before, of, like, a whole, like, fighting thing on Kamino. It comes with Crosshair, Hunter, Tarkin, as well as, you know, some of the training droids. Now, I think you could, like, foreseeably see LEGO reusing the Dark Trooper molds, and that would be a very easy way for them to do that. They bring back the Hunter and Crosshair. They made a new Crosshair figure with the regular, you know, clone design, which would be great. And then I think you could also see, you know, not Tarkin necessarily. I think Rampart would make a ton more sense since he's a main bad guy. And, you know, obviously that would be a great little $40, $50 set even. I'd say $40 set probably, because, you know, 4 figures around is what it would have. So $40 set, I think that would be a great build, you know, just a super fun Kamino action battle. And I think he did a good job with this custom design. So yeah, I do think we could get something along the lines of that. Now finally, we have a question that is just up my alley from Just Lamb, hashtag Ask the Stud. What would you like to see in a LEGO Muppets set next year? Now, for those who don't know, there is going to be a LEGO Muppets collectible minifigure series, which you guys know I'm very hyped for if you watched the video on that. If you haven't watched it, watch it now, because it's just me spazzing out for 5 minutes. I would personally love a Brickhead series and brick-built character sets, like the Grogu R2-D2 BB-9E set. Yeah, so there's so much stuff they could do with the Muppets, it's really kind of limitless. Now, first off, the obvious kind of set idea would be for them to do something along the lines of Sesame Street or Winnie the Pooh. They need to do a Muppet Theater. Come on. They can make this $150, $200 maybe, you know, kind of like the Home Alone house, which a lot of people thought was a pretty obscure thing to do. And the Muppets, I guess, would be around the same route, but they're still making it pretty expensive. So Muppet Theater would be obvious. My guy, Bulldozer Brix, has made a fantastic designed one. It looks really cool. He has it on LEGO Ideas now, I think, or he had it. And you know, it just looks really, really good. And after a CMF series where you're getting all the figures, I think that would be a perfect set for LEGO to do. And usually after a CMF series, LEGO does on an individual theme. They'll make a set on it, so, you know, we could see Looney Tunes stuff in the future. But with the Muppets specifically, I think Brickhead's 100% possibility. If they were going to do that, I'd say the likely, like, 5. You could see Kermit and Miss Piggy. Those are just iconic. If you'd see people having those on their shelves in their, like, you know, office or whatever. Fozzie and Gonzo, possibly, and then obviously Animal, and then maybe even Beaker and Bunsen. Those would just be kind of fun ones for, like, you know, science teachers or whatever to have. And then also, obviously, the big one I would love to see is, if you guys know the buildable Mickey and Minnie statue, I would love to see that, but just a Kermit the Frog version of that. I would love to see, like, a buildable Kermit. As this guy mentions, he'd like to see something like a buildable Yoda or something. I'd love to see a buildable Kermit. That would be fantastic, and yeah. So with that said, that rounds up this episode of Ask the Stud. I have a lot of fun doing these, and, you know, honestly, I didn't think these types of videos would do too well, just because, you know, who wants to hear me talk? But apparently you guys do, so I really appreciate it. And to, you know, further support me, just keep watching these. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the other things, and I will see you all in the next one. Remember to peace out, and stay awesome.